Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Monday, December 23rd, 2024. And yes, only 2 days to go until the big day, Christmas Day. And I heard on the radio this morning that there's been record amounts of money spent across all the stores and that this Christmas. I must admit I haven't really seen it. I think I said the other day I was at one of the major shopping centres in Melbourne last week, and I went to the supermarket yesterday and I didn't see the people. It wasn't busy at all. Even in our own stores, it's been okay, but Jesus, no record set. It's only about 80, it's a 60 kilometre zone there, Peanut, and he's going about 100 around that corner. Anyway, so I haven't seen it, but look, if that is the case, that is great. It shows that after, about 5 years, whatever it's been since the pandemic, that we're starting to hopefully get back to normal. But I don't know how people do it these days. It's bloody expensive out there, isn't it? Just with everything. So anyway, enough of me whinging. The fights yesterday. Now, I did do a full review of this yesterday, the Fury and Usyk rematch for the undisputed heavyweight. Well, I'm going to call it the undisputed heavyweight title because I don't care what belt Daniel Dubois got. This was the undisputed heavyweight title. You don't need that IBF belt, I don't think, in there. As long as you've got all the other belts and the Ring Magazine belt, then I think that's all that matters. But anyway, and the fact that Usyk beat Dubois last year. So I don't think there's any doubt there. But yeah, look, the event itself, look, it's probably more fascinating to, as I said, I did the review yesterday, but it's probably the fallout of it all and hearing the guys speak and everyone else's views and thoughts and everything on it. That's probably more what I'm interested in. And at the press conference, Tyson Fury said that until the day he dies, he will believe he won the fight. Of course, Frank Warren's going to say that he won by 3 rounds, 4 rounds, whatever it was. I can't see it. Look, I just think Oleksandr Usyk, in my opinion, was just the dominant fighter throughout the majority of the fight. I had it 115, 113, but I was generous with a couple of those close rounds to Tyson Fury. I thought he battled hard. I thought he did the best that he could, but he's looking. G'day, how you doing? I just think he's looking like one of those fighters that are really on the tail end of his career and really labouring along. And I know Usyk probably highlighted that by his speed and his movement and the volume of punches that he was throwing, but Tyson Fury really struggled to keep up. And look, I thought he did okay early, Tyson Fury, but I think that the fact that Oleksandr Usyk really went with him early, I think that really surprised him and really set him back and really set up the rest of the fight, because I think the plan was that Tyson would come out really aggressive early, hopefully win the first 3-4 rounds, whatever it was, just by pure aggression and work rate, and really try and bully him and push him around. And Oleksandr Usyk just wouldn't have any of it. He went with Tyson, he punched with him, he actually upped the work rate himself, so whatever Tyson did, he would actually raise the bar a little bit higher, and you got the feeling that after about 4 rounds, I think I gave Oleksandr Usyk 3 of the first 4, I think. I can't remember. But whatever it was, I think the plan that Tyson went in with just didn't work. Because one, as I said, Oleksandr Usyk more than went with him early as far as that work rate goes. The weight then played an issue later in the fight. I think he gassed a bit earlier than what he would have expected because of that work rate set by Usyk. And I just think all round he was outfought, outboxed, outsmarted by Oleksandr Usyk, who just proved what a great champion that he is. And you just get the impression, a little bit like with Anthony Joshua and Oleksandr Usyk, they could fight 5 or 6 times and Oleksandr Usyk's going to beat them every time. I thought that he actually beat Tyson Fury more convincingly than in the first fight. The first fight, I thought, well, obviously it was close. If it wasn't for that 9th round, it would have been a draw. And there were a lot of people that actually thought that Tyson Fury won. I thought it was just extremely close, but I just didn't think there was any doubt yesterday. And I couldn't understand the responses by a few of the people, especially like Frank Warren, who was just absolutely horrified after the fight. He said he cannot see how Oleksandr Usyk won the fight. how the judges went against Tyson Fury, and look, I mean, I know he's got to say that, he's his promoter, I get that, but yeah, I was surprised that they would even think that. I mean, it's probably okay for them to come out and say, well, you know, it was a good fight, it was a close fight, we thought Tyson won, but congratulations to Oleksandr Usyk, it is what it is. But to really stamp their feet and say that Tyson Fury was blatantly ripped off, I can't say. I haven't really heard anyone. I know during the telecast, they interviewed Oscar De La Hoya. I can't remember what round it was, 8 or 9 round or whatever in between, and might have been a little bit earlier actually, but he said that he thought Tyson Fury had pretty much dominated the fight, and thought, Oscar, I don't know what you're doing these days outside the ring, mate, but there's no way that Tyson Fury was winning that fight. And they're probably the only ones I've sort of seen or heard that have actually said that Fury won. Eddie Hearn, surprisingly, thought it was a draw. Now, I don't know whether he was just keeping the peace because he wants the AJ and Tyson Fury fight and didn't want to upset Tyson Fury, who was very upset afterwards, especially about the AI scoring. I'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, I don't know whether it was just a ploy by Eddie just to sit on the fence and you know, maybe just have a foot in both camps as far as what might happen down the track. But yeah, as I said, I was surprised. I just thought that, as I said, Tyson Fury tried hard. He tried jabbing, and he had success with that jab early. He really did. He was spearing it out, but once the zap or whatever it is had gone out of it as the fight went on, he just really struggled to pull the trigger. He was then trying to score with the right uppercut, but didn't really have success. I don't think I saw a good solid uppercut land. A couple of grazing shots, but that was obviously the game plan as the fight went forward, to come in and really throw that right uppercut, but yeah, just no success. And Oleksandr Usyk, I thought, as a fight went, just really gritted it out. And as I said before, I think his game plan was just to keep that work rate up the whole time, make Tyson Fury feel every bit of that 281 pounds, and not really stand there and let Tyson Fury lean on him or bully him, but it was to make him use that weight by either chasing Usyk or Usyk pushing him back and really making him work. So it's just a look, it was a basic game plan, but very, very effective. And I suppose that's what we talked about in the lead up to the fight, is whose game plan would work. Would Tyson Fury be able to get hold of Usyk and slow him down and lean on him and push him and shove him and rough him up and really make that weight advantage work to his advantage? But then you had obviously the opposite. Well, will that weight actually be a detriment to him as the fight goes on, with the having to go with Usyk for 12 3-minute rounds at a fast pace, and the latter was the one that actually came into play. So, but look, it was an entertaining fight. I don't think it was as good a fight as the geez, watch it there, Neil. Yeah, I don't think it was as good a fight as the first one. I think it was pretty much round after round was sort of the same. And as I said, I just think that Tyson Fury really struggled to pull the trigger and really set himself in this fight. And so the official judging was 116-112 by all three judges. And yeah, I think that's pretty on the mark. As I said, I had it 115-113, but there was probably, 7 rounds to 5. Judges had it 8 rounds to 4. So yeah, as I said, I was pretty lenient with Tyson on a couple of those rounds, and I think that was around the mark. And the AI judge. So for the first time in history, we had a computer judging the fight. And I'm not sure exactly how it works. I did see some sort of vision of it sort of surveying both fighters and highlighting the movements and punches, all that sort of stuff. Again, I'm not exactly how sure it works, but it almost got it right as well. Come here, man, we need to go this way. Come on, let's go up here. He's taking me down a hill. So unfortunately, Neil, you need to come back up the hill as we cross the road. Come on, let's go. But the AI judge had it 8 rounds to 2 with 2 rounds even. So pretty close. Usyk 8 rounds. The judges gave him 8 rounds. The judges gave Fury 4, the computer gave him 2 and 2 even. So yeah, very close to the mark. Will we be seeing more of it? I'd like to see exactly how it works before I probably cast a judgment on it, but hey, nothing could be worse than some of the decisions we've been seeing over the recent few years, could it? So if it's going to better the sport, then let's look at it. You know what's going to happen though at some stage? The computer will give out a horrendous score that everyone thinks is just ridiculous, and that will probably be the end of it. But hey, look, again, how often does that happen in normal events anyway? So I did say in the review yesterday about what is next for both guys. Come on, man. I think that more than ever, the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight makes sense next. It really does. You would think that Oleksandr Usyk will either fight Daniel Dubois or maybe even go down to cruiserweight and fight Jai Pataya, and what a fight that would be. That is the fight I would like to see. I'd like to see that above Daniel Dubois. I think he's proven he can beat Daniel Dubois, and I know there was a controversy with the knockdown, was it low or whatever it was, but at the end of the day, I thought outside of that, I thought that Oleksandr Usyk really dominated that fight and ended up stopping Dubois. So I'm not sure whether another fight even makes sense, apart from the fact that it would put all 4 belts on the line again and there'd be massive paydays and all that sort of stuff. I understand it, but as a pure fight fan, the fight for me is Jai Pataya, and he would have been licking his lips yesterday thinking, geez, I could fight this guy, because Oleksandr Usyk has said he could get down the cruiserweight quite comfortably. He has to eat up to get to his 100 kilos. I think he's not, oh yes, 103, I think it was, 102, 103 kilos. And he says he has to really struggle to beef up to that weight. So, you know, you could probably drop down to maybe 95 kilos pretty quickly, and then lose the rest of the weight, you know, just by the normal means that all fighters do. So what a fight. Now again, I know the Dubois fight makes sense financially and the belts and all that sort of stuff, but as a fight fan, the Pataya fight for me is the fight I would love. I'm not sure we could do that in Australia. That would be a Riyadh event, but to have Jai as the main event in a big fight like that, I think it's his destiny. I think he'll get there, and I know people will come at me, I think he would be a good chance to beat Usyk. Maybe not quite yet, maybe another year. So you'd have to hang out for Usyk for another year, but just another 2 fights and I reckon he'd be there. And I know a lot of people say you're crazy, but he's just got the speed, the power, the footwork. He's almost the carbon copy of Oleksandr Usyk. And I know Usyk's had far more experience, far more bigger fights. He's a more accomplished fighter, I get it. But sometimes, just sometimes, there's a fighter that can just match a particular fighter in aspects and can get the job done. And I think I'm going to put myself out there and say that Jai Pataya is capable of winning that fight in about 2 fights' time. But anyway, we will see. The rest of the card I thought was okay. Sergey Bohachuk, very impressive against Ismail Davis. Didn't have a lot to beat, in my opinion, though. I thought Davis was good for a couple of rounds, and then it was all one-way traffic then. He didn't fight a very smart fight either, Davis. He had a little bit of success early, landing a few shots, and then got a bit brave, and then tried to match the work rate of Bohachuk, and you just can't do that. These Russian fighters, or Ukrainian fighters, sorry, they just keep coming, they just keep punching, they're just coming at you, and Ismail Davis was dropped, I think, in the 3rd, totally gassed by the 4th, and by the 5th, the corner, not the referee, the corner stopped the fight. So, yeah, but a good workmanlike performance by Bohachuk, and he'll get some big fights. And I did mention after that, I think someone said in the chat that they'd love to see him fight Murtazaliyov, and I would too. What a fight that would be. I think I might have said in the review that it was Madrimov. I meant Murtazaliyov. Bohachuk versus Murtazaliyov would be an absolute war. It would be a ripper, and so many good fights at that weight, isn't there? So many ripper fights, and let's hope Tim Tszyu can get back to a point where he might be in line to fight some of those guys. And not just on that, congratulations also, of course, to Tim Tszyu, who got married yesterday. So congratulations to him, and hope he has a great holiday or honeymoon or whatever it is, and he comes back refreshed next year, and we see Tim Tszyu back to where he was about 12 months ago. But we'll see. Lots been said about the Moses Ortoma knockout of Dempsey McKean, the next Mike Tyson, the best young prospect, you know, in decades. Look, he was impressive, but I'm not going to get too excited about him just yet until we see him against some real live opposition. He can punch, make no mistake about it, and the kid's 19 years of age. He's a year younger than my son. That is just crazy. And yes, he's a great prospect. He's got all the tools needed, but I want to see him do it against a legitimate fighter. Now, he might be, you know, 4 or 5 fights away from doing that. Dempsey McKean, I think, was probably the most, well, I'll say the most accomplished fighter he's fought. Not that Dempsey's done a lot in the world scene, but I just thought as far as his skill and all that sort of stuff goes, his experience, that he was Otama's probably most credentialed opponent, but he just, well, what was it, 2 minutes. Was a little bit of conjecture after the fight about maybe the fact he hit him on the back of the head. If he did, it was totally unintentional. I did actually say that during the stream that, geez, was that on the back of the head? And look, he did. He's just throwing that left hand. Dempsey's just turned his head just slightly, and it did get him on the back. And then once he went down, you could just tell by the way he went down with the body language that the fight was over right there and then. And the second one, well, there was no doubt about that one. It hit him right on the temple and pretty much just knocked him out cold. And I can't believe, though, the referee started the count. The corner's throwing in the towel. They're all saying it's over. And I'm not sure whether it's the rules or whatever where you have to count, but he didn't wave it off straight away, which is ridiculous because there's no way Dempsey McKean was even going to move, let alone get up. So, yeah, and I do feel for Dempsey McKean. And again, all the Aussie, well, I don't know, people might call them trolls. I don't call them trolls. I just think they're people with opinions. Coming at Dempsey McKean, see, another one bites the dust, blah, 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 another Aussie on the international stage. Look, I just think it was just Dempsey McKean who just ran into a buzzsaw and that was it. And Dempsey maybe not just being up to that level, and Otama just hitting him flush, and that's it. So I'll always stand up for the Aussies that are putting themselves out there. Yes, I agree that we've been off the mark in a lot of fights. Yes, I agree that a lot of our fighters get thrown to the wolves. Yes, I think a lot of them are just hurried along by the team. And yes, I believe that a lot of Aussie fighters get way too ahead of themselves with a few wins here in Australia against some very substandard international opponents, and then get to the world scene and pay the price. But the one thing I will say now, though, I think the attitude of Aussie fighters is changing by the fact that, yes, they're taking these fights, but they are waiting a little longer, and I think they know exactly what they're in for. And I think they are prepared. Yes, sometimes they're not quite there, probably as there as what they think they are, but I just think they're a little bit more calculated now in what they're doing. And the Aussies, of course, will fight anyone to get an opportunity. So as long as they're doing that, and you know, I know yesterday's was a wipeout and not a great look, but you know, look at the rest of the year. It's been fantastic. So many good wins. Yes, there's been some bad losses, but overall, again, I'll just back the Aussies all the time just to get over there and have a crack at it. And yes, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but I just think we're on the way. We're on the way. We're not going over there blind anymore, thinking we're all that, and supporters thinking they're all that. We know what's going on. Most boxing fans are right across the world scene now, and they know what they're getting into, or what their fighters are getting into. Yeah, look, it's just going to take time. It really is. Just more and more fights at the level. It's great now we've got so many of those great promoters getting behind our fighters and giving them opportunities, and I'd rather that than our fighters not getting opportunities at all. So anyway, but all the best to Dempsey, as I said in the review yesterday. But Otama, I just want to see him in with a live heavyweight contender before I really pass judgment. And at 19 years of age, he's got plenty of time. They could probably give him another year and throw him in, and who knows, he could even lose a fight or two. Probably like Daniel Dubois did. He lost a couple of early fights too, didn't he? To Joe Joyce, and of course now Usyk a couple, what was it, last year, and has rebounded really well. So look, again, he's a prospect, but let's just keep things in check. So, but overall, look, actually that's what I was saying, wasn't it, about Fury and Joshua before I go. Makes sense, big time, in that Both fighters not much on the horizon now, both coming off losses, both not really with a lot happening, both at the probably end stages of their careers. Just makes 100% sense now to get in there and get that $100 million payday, because they'll get it. That doesn't matter, they're coming off losses, they will get the payday. And who knows, they could do a nice little trilogy against each other over the next 2 years, 2.5 years, and then just call it a day, and everyone will be happy with that. They'll sail off in the sunset and they can let these younger guys do what they've got to do. Usyk will do what he's going to do, and we'll let the next crop come through in the heavyweight divisions. But look, overall, not the greatest card yesterday overall, but the main event, again, that's what we were there for, and for $30. Oh, the other thing, yeah, the DAZN thing. A lot of people threatening action against DAZN. They want their money back. Good luck getting it. I don't think it'll happen. I think the only way you're going to have any retribution whatsoever is not to buy their subscriptions going forward. That's the only way they'll learn. It was just shocking though. I mean, I only lost 2 rounds. A lot of people lost 10 rounds. Yeah, just not a great look by DAZN. And the thing is, if you're going to be a streaming service, whether it's DAZN, Netflix, whatever it is, and you're going to put the fights on and you know they're going to be massive and you're going to charge people, then you have to have this shit together. It's as simple as that. Because fight fans are going to turn off very quickly, and in this day and age where it's all about apps and streaming services, we've had 2 absolute shockers in the space of a month. So, or 6 weeks, whatever it's been. So, yeah, they've got to do something about it, or the fans are going to rebel big time. And someone made a comment yesterday, No Limit might charge $70 for a pay-per-view, but at least it doesn't cut out. So, although that's not an app, is it? It's a TV station. But anyway, good luck to everyone out there trying to get their money back. But guys, that's going to do it for today. Give us your opinions of the fight yesterday. What's next for Fury and Usyk? And also what your thoughts about the rest of the card was as well. So that's going to do it. We'll catch you tomorrow. Have a great day.